Thank you for giving me the honor to close this year's Runway to FIF Frugal Innovation Forum, which is really a teaser to the BRAC's flagship event, Frugal Innovation Forum, that's going to come this fall. I'm Morshed. I'm looking after a few things in BRAC, but basically I'm an innovation enthusiast. So to me, I think this American futurist William Gibson once said that the future is already here. It's not just evenly distributed. We all have come across this quote sometime or other. So this initiative that we call Frugal Innovation Forum is an effort to bring some equity uh, in the distribution of creating a platform to share solutions by those who have it and those who need it, who are facing the problem, so that this equity of the future, everybody has the part of future, be part of the future. So starting in 2013, we organized this FIF on specific themes. Every year there was a theme. This year's theme was scaling digital innovation for women's financial inclusion. Now, after completing 3 days of exciting and fruitful meet, it makes no sense to talk about why we have selected this theme or justifying the theme. Your active participation and the enthusiasm to stay this late speaks volume on that. Just to illustrate this enthusiasm in number, this year we hosted 35 speakers, 16 conversations over 3 days. There were more than 500 participants from 35 countries who represented 278 organizations, and especially four globally respected partners, namely the Green Impact, Innovation for Poverty Action, BSRR Project, IDEO.org. They joined hand in making it fruitful. And as part of the closing remark, let me attempt the impossible task that every person ever made a closing remark had to do, is to summarize this key point. I know that these points are not, exhaustive, extensive, and I'm surely going to miss some of the most interesting insights that were presented. So, apology in advance. So, on the first day, we had Asif Saleh and Shamir Navid, respectively the BRAC and BRAC International's executive directors, and Greta Bull, director, Women's Economic Empowerment of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, our key sponsor of this year's event. So Asif Bhai talked about critical need for evidence generation, capacity building, and knowledge sharing to sustainably scale up women's economic inclusion. Shamaran Bhai talked about sensible regulation, uh, and initiated regulators and irresponsive regulations negatively impact on the inclusion goal. In fact, that can create exclusion. Greta, on the other hand, emphasized the necessity of products being need responsive to different groups among women clientele. So, if I can quickly summarize the points discussed in the first day was connecting women to meaningful services. It's not. It's really the product. It's really the actual use of the product in making people's life better. That play a critical role in uh, promoting the inclusion. And the other point that was discussed is that it will be a mistake to consider women as a single group. There are differences in need, and you cannot just paint them in broad brush. So you need to be need responsive. And similarly, it is important that the language that we use to attract more women is also targeted to that group, to each individual group of women that we're targeting. We have to use a language that they use, they understand, and they care about. And then we also talked about on the first day the use of inclusive design principles. Again, repeating the same theme that this is essential to build a new service and also old one. So how can you make it inclusive? Designing for if you design a general audience, you may not be able to attract the clientele that you are trying to attract. And then we also looked at upgrade models, institution, and resource allocation. Proven models of the past may no longer be relevant today. Every day, our needs are changing, and that in the development sector, we are acutely aware of the fact that once a particular need is met, there is always a demand for the next stage, and so on and so forth. So we need to be ready to adjust ourselves, provide product, services, reach out to the clientele who has a new demand of that day, if you may. In the second day, if I try to capture the discussion, one was normalize women as a financial decision maker. If women cannot make their financial decision themselves, or if it is, then inclusion will be hampered naturally. And super platform or platforms that can reach many can lower the barrier to entry. Instead of trying to create a unique platform, if you can use WeChat, Facebook, and a platform like that, where already there are people, then our chances of reaching more people, attracting them, getting them included into the digital financial services will go up. And then we also talked about, focusing the use instead of looking into technicalities of wallets and mobile phones and so on. uh, we need to really bump up the digital literacy so that women can actually look into actually use a product. It's not the nicety of the product, the nicety of the technology. It's about ease of use. It's about the knowledge transmission. Is about making people aware of how to use this, and make it easy, because after all they're saving, they're dealing with the scarce financial resources that they have on that platform. And then barrier to digital financial inclusion are connected. I think this is one of the interesting takeaway personally for me. Somebody once told me that, look, I like vicious cycles. I said, why one would like vicious cycles? He said, look, in the vicious cycle where you have the arrows getting worse and worse, all you need to do is rotate one of the arrows, change the direction of one of the arrows, then it become a virtuous cycle. And that connectedness is really this meta-analysis that revealed 35 major barriers of women digital financial inclusion, all connected ones, actually make us more hopeful that if I can change one, that will help me changing others easily, if you will. Day three, it's less challenging to summarize day three because since it just ended, nobody wants the summary. It's all fresh in your memory. But we spoke about connecting policy to practice, codifying knowledge from disaster and humanitarian response, feeding this into making mass products and services better targeted and more responsive. So again, the themes are all connected all these 3 days, though we have approached it from different angle. The core messages appear to be very strong and connected one. And then this was the discussion. Let me at this point thank all of our colleagues in Social Innovation Lab, specifically Raya, Sadat, Durdana, Navid, and the team and the broader team: Salman, Protoy, Shakil, Kuldeep, Chaturi, Arshe, Kazi, Mark, Tithi, Najiba, Irina, Faria, and their, of course, their gang leader, Tanzina, for making this happen. But this is, as I said, it's a teaser for a larger event that is going to come in fall 2022. And also in between this, all these discussions are available in the conference platform and YouTube channels, so that you can review it. You can again take notes of some of the discussions that you have missed during the first when we are there online. And we're going to send an email summarizing all this discussion, all that we have learned from fascinating discussions that took place in the last 3 days. So let me repeat this upcoming event that is in fall 2022. We are the theme selected for the event is what a digital future means for the world's poorest. It will open up opportunities if we act thoughtfully, intentionally, and collaboratively to really make digital financial inclusion or digital future work for the poorest. And we'll talk about the future of opportunities and well-being to digital access to classrooms, marketplaces, finance, healthcare. Because at the end of the day, tool is only useful as the services or the way it changes our life. So we will be focusing on that aspect in the Frugal Innovation Forum 2022. So again, finally, let me thank our partners. I already talked about the four session partners, but let me sincerely and profusely thank Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. BMGF really supported this event, but this is part of the story. They have supported BRAC since 2014 in the financial inclusion, digital financial inclusion work that BRAC is doing, and BRAC partners like Bcash is doing. So thank you, BMGF, for the support that you have rendered to us, and thank you, our team, who has made it possible. But biggest thank, most sincerest thanks to those 5,000 plus, 500 plus participants who participated and made this event successful for all of us. Thank you.